So oftentimes we get asked, why don't we cut to the legs? And there's a really practical reason for this, and it has to do just with geometry. My sword is at its longest reach directly out from my shoulder, which is right about here. His is the same. It's about the same here as it is here. He's not losing any distance. The further down my body he goes, the less range he has. Now he can't hit my leg, but unless he leans in, and then guess what's closer to me? Yeah. His head is. So the reason we don't go for the legs often is because it's not a very reliable target. I can hit the leg, but in doing so, I'm compromising my reach to the point where now he can hit me way before I can get to him. Look how far, Matt's got longer arms than me in the first place, so he can hit me. Go ahead and put full extension. He can hit me before I can hit him anyway. But let's say Matt's case, sure. Matt goes for my leg. I can hit him, and he still can't hit me. I can hit him significantly. He has a reach advantage on me, not a big one, and it doesn't make that much of a difference. But the other thing that the problem with the legs is this. If I'm aiming for a low target, my sword is down low, and my head is exposed. Right. It takes a lot longer for me to get back up here, right? If I'm attacking in here and he attacks me somewhere, this is very easy to do. I can come right back and guard my midsection of my head, the places where he's normally gonna go. But if my sword is committed to a leg cut, it's very hard for me to defend my head.
I forget who it was that I know, but they used to say that it's a bad trade.
Yeah, it's a bad trade.
Because you're trading a chance to hit them in the leg, and you're risking getting your head smoted open. Smited.
The other thing is this. Yes, it would...
Or your neck.
It would probably, in the long run, cripple this person to get hit in the leg with a sword.
Sure.
But adrenaline is a beast, and it might not immediately stop them. Yes, there are places on the legs that are fatal, the femoral artery and such. But
so on the inside?
Yeah, the inside. The femoral artery is on the inside right here.
Back.
Yeah, it's hard to get into. Now here's the other issue, right?
The shins.
If I'm fighting Matt, and I hit him in the chest, he might still be able to attack me once more.
Sure.
But I can get this up and in the way.
Maybe.
If I hit him in the leg, he definitely can attack me again.
Maybe
many times. Adrenaline might mean that he doesn't even feel that leg hit, even if it is a mortal wound, even if it is one that's gonna cut his leg off, he might still be able to attack me again. Now my sword is committed down here, so it's a dangerous trade for me.
I have a story from a guy I know who's a sport fencer who fences epee, and he was telling me about a time when an epee broke and went straight through his leg, and he had to be told that it had happened because he didn't. And they weren't fighting for their lives; they were just having an intense fencing bout.
Yeah.
So,
adrenaline's crazy.
Who knows?
And it's not to say that a leg wound wouldn't. There are situations when a leg attack makes sense. But let's say Matt and I have close distance, right, and he's parried in here or something.
I've done a seam parry. The thread is gone.
The thread is gone. A push. Yeah, that could make sense. He also could go anywhere on my back, but he's not losing distance here. If we're in a situation where we're both close and we've done something here, a leg attack like a thrust might be great. A glazade into the leg might be great, but those are situations where I've either already dealt with his sword or we're in a distance in which the distance no longer matters.
Right.
If your primary attack coming into distance is a leg attack, you're putting yourself in danger.
If you're thinking you're going to do something you saw in a movie where you
chop a leg off,
go for a crazy leg attack and go,
oh!
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Good luck.
And that's
it's not a sound tactic.
That's the thing we always say. Could it work? Yes.
Sure, if you roll dice enough times.
Almost anything can work with a sword. There's probably someone out there who fought a duel with reverse grip and won.
Probably.
Once.
But I guarantee you the other person sucked.
Yeah, but that's the thing, anything is possible. Is it a good idea? Is it a good strategy for you to use to be consistently good at combat? No.
And if you want to practice it in order to understand why it doesn't work, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, having it in your repertoire is fine. It's not going to hurt you to know it, like the reverse grip will. But it's.
Can't think of a good use of reverse grip.
No, we're done with that. We're done with that. But the point being that leg hits can work, but it shouldn't be your first choice because it's just unreliable,
Yeah,
both on the standpoint of is it going to stop your opponent? Are you going to be able to reach it without getting hit? Range, everything else.
One more thing to add. I have seen leg hits work with like heavy saber and rapier and even this to some extent, but they usually happen sometimes as like just an incidental after thing after a bad parry. Maybe
Yeah.
like say we're fencing and you try to parry me weird and like it's weak and I keep going it's hard enough that it hits him and so the judge counts it.
Yeah.
Sure, that kind of thing can happen a lot. But I wasn't really aiming for his legs. I was just giving a hard cut, and it happened to hit me.
And we had that happen last week with longsword.
It happens a lot.
Yeah, and so like incidental cuts like that, there are times leg hits will work. It's just one of those things where if it's your primary goal going into the fight, you're probably not going to have a lot of
But
success.
with a good solid point forward longsword stance,
come a little more forward.
I have zero inclination to try and hit his knees just psychologically right now. I'm thinking like maybe I can get there.
But look at that.
But
like,
I had to lean my head out.
and then even if he goes for my legs, in any capacity he goes for my legs, I now have the hand exposed, the arm exposed, the head exposed, all.
Well, and I'm going extra.
And the want to know the other thing here? This is fun. Watch. Ready?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
That's all I need. If I see it coming at my legs, all I really need to do,
Pull back the forward
I can just
leg.
pull back the forward leg and he's gonna miss. It's really easy because the leg moves pretty quickly.
And all you're doing is changing your footwork stance from this to this.
The leg moves pretty quickly, so it is a target that's not a high reward target. High risk, low reward. Let's show it.
Sure.
All right, here we go.
I'm terrified.
I won't hit you hard.
Don't hit me too hard.
I won't.
Don't make your Tweety birds fly around my head.
Hey, that's copyright. I'm gonna get sued now. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Come this way.
Okay.
Fence.
See, before I even get there, I have to start doing such stupid stuff to try to do it. It's, even if I'm really careful and I'm just like.
He's just so exposed. Go for it. Don't only go for the legs.
Okay.
That way I don't know it's coming every time. Ready?
Okay.
Fence. Maybe.
Maybe it wasn't that hard.
Oh, so he went for the leg.
I missed.
He missed. He kind of collided with the back edge on my elbow. I don't think it was actually too much.
Accidentally.
But I wasn't even trying to dodge that. I was just stepping back normally. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Fence. You whiffed the outside shell of this. I don't think it
Right.
would have even got me.
Okay. So at that point, even if I had made some contact with the
little
very
bit.
tip, I might have given you like a little
scratch.
like a knee scrape a little kid gets on the sidewalk.
It might have been a nasty scratch.
Like
It
a
wouldn't have.
boo-boo?
It wouldn't have cut to the bone.
Now, what did you do to me?
I just
Because
bisected his face.
I'm not saying that you did anything wrong, but I need them to know I felt it, and it was really good. Or for him, like it was a solid as hell cut, and there was nothing I could do.
And I delivered that while going backward like
Right.
that.
My head, you would have probably got into my skull a little ways.
Ugh.
I don't know if it would have gone through my skull, but it was
Do like two more, and then we'll do something
like I
else.
can feel it in my head a little bit.
Oh,
I'm
sorry,
fine.
man.
No, I'm fine. I just want them to know that it was good.
Fence. Yay! Oh,
See, then I thought maybe I had a chance, but you
thought.
saw me coming.
saw it coming. It's easy to see when a leg shot is coming because it's a big loop. It's got to go so low.
Yeah, it's got to go so low. And the thing is,
I want to show them a situation where it would work.
okay.
So,
Oh, so like a closing.
like either a closing or a glissade. So I've gotten this a few times. So if he's here, I can bind into that.
Sure, yeah.
That's a real shot that would really work because I'm dealing with this point first. I've actually gotten things where I've bound into here because I'm on the weak side of the sword. He can take evasive action, but I don't feel exposed because I dealt with his sword first. If he comes back at me, I can easily deal with that again. Or a closing thing. So if I came at him, what do you want?
I don't know.
So if I come at him with like a head and we get in close like this, he might be able to take me, or I can come into here. There are things where we can close distance and it makes some sense to go to the leg, but usually it's an attack of opportunity, not a plan.
Honestly, yeah, if we, earlier, like what we were doing, and I won't do it hard, 'cause this could actually hurt, but the example I had earlier, if we're in a bind,
Yeah. Yeah. But then the other thing for that was, wouldn't you rather hit my head?
yeah, probably.
Yeah,
But
even
you
then.
were kind of bent that way, so your head was
That's
actually a
fair,
little bit
that's
farther
fair.
away.
Yeah, so like, that's enough.
And if I can land a huge cut on your hamstrings,
Yeah. Woo. Yeah, I mean, a big cut in the legs is gonna have an effect. I'm not, oh, that's not good. I'm not saying that it's not effective.
actually, a big cut right here might not do that much.
There's a lot of fat.
A lot of fat and muscle.
Yeah.
It would hurt like hell,
Hurt
but
like
I bet I
hell.
can still move.
You could probably still move. Like I said, adrenaline's a big deal. So it's one of those things where it's not usually a good payoff. Not only because you're losing reach, not only because it leaves you so open, but because it might not even have the desired effect. The opponent might still be able to attack you just as well as they could in the first place.
And it could be a good thing if you're studying historical fencing to learn how to counter a leg attack rather than do one. I don't
Yeah,
know.
possibly.
Because people back then might have tried it. I don't know.
There's always complications, and like we can only speculate as modern day fencers as to what the conditions and things would have been back then, even with the manuals, even with everything else. But judging from physics alone, which hasn't changed since
No,
then,
human bodies are the same.
human bodies are the same. It just doesn't seem like it's very effective. And honestly, in the manuals, there aren't a whole lot of discussions of cuts to the leg.
Anything I can imagine would be something along the lines of, if the other person tries to cut your legs, do this.
Yeah.
Um,
Honestly, I'd love it if somebody came cutting at my legs in a fight. Like, I'd just be like, oh, that's great.
Oh, I'd be like,
Yeah, well, thank goodness they don't know what they're
going
doing.
home today.
It can only get better if they came at me with reverse grip.
With what?
Reverse grip.
Oh, with reverse grip and the legs.
Reverse grip of the legs.
Sweep the leg.